it on Twitter earlier today, like the beginning of the day.
Right.
Hey, here's my Lapras, my Glaceon, and my Garbodor, and everyone's like,
what's this? The Wamboldt special.
well, and we are going to watch it play right now. So it looks like Wamboldt is just going for that energy evolution on that Eevee. Looks like a water energy. I hope it's a water energy.
It's a water energy. He's going to evolve directly into a Glaceon, which has a very special ability.
That I can't remember the name of.
Freezing Ray. Freezing Ray.
So it's got that ability when it's in play, or you're active, I believe, actually.
It is when it's active.
When it's active, all your opponent's Pokemon EX and GX have no abilities. So that could really set off, and I love the judge.
The fact that this is a new card, we have a judge reading the card.
Oh, isn't that glorious?
We weren't expecting to see this card played at all.
Yeah, I think that the thing was, when it first got, announced that it was going to be in the set, I think everyone got really excited. They're like, oh, ability lock. But then people started testing it more and couldn't really find, a list that they like to go with this. But clearly, Andrew's found something that's worked, and, he's about to play for the points.
He's about to play for day 2.
Yeah, so
one of the top 45 slots, potential 45 slots, going for day 2.
Yep. So there's Andrew's going to play the Ultra Ball, ditches the Mewtwo and the Garbodor. So this this is so fun. Oh, and so this kind of stinks for Dustin because, that Glaceon not only shuts off Tapu Lele GX, it's also going to shut off his Zoroark GX. It's going to shut off his Lycanroc GX. It's going to shut off a lot of his stuff. He doesn't have anything else.
It shuts off his entire deck.
Yeah, so
every single Pokemon that's evolved.
And even Mew EX that he's playing. He's not going to be able to do anything about that.
So he gets the Eevee. We obviously know what's going to happen.
Oh,
Dustin
he just triple benches Zoro and passes. Oh my gosh. Stop. All right, there's another energy evolution from that Eevee because Eevee is, Freezing Gaze wouldn't matter. Okay, Freezing Gaze is the name. Thank you. Oh, gosh, I should test more. Goodness gracious. So, gonna go ahead and evolve into another Glaceon.
And we see a Cynthia.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, gonna get himself a fresh 6 cards. I think if Andrew can get a double colorless energy, can just start using Frost Bullet to do 90 to that Zora and 30 to another Zoroa. Oh, man. Goodness. So, at this point, I think Dustin just kind of wants to hope that he does have a Zoroark in hand and a double colorless energy in hand so he can start doing damage because,
otherwise,
he's dead. Yeah.
But we see Wamboldt does not draw one of his 4 double colorless.
Right, so that's big. So that's at least going to give Dustin another turn for at least one of his Zoroas to survive. So.
But we do see the Eevee come down for the Energy Evolution next turn, where we will probably be seeing another Glaceon.
And Dustin just had to pass.
Oh my goodness.
Just the power of this Glaceon lock.
It looks like he has a Lapras in hand. Oh, he's
going to ditch it.
He's just going to ditch everything.
Yeah. I think that he's more so afraid that that's going to be just an easy, dangerous rogue target with strong energy math and all of that.
Exactly.
So I think that he's more so concerned about that. And he has a pretty fine board state. I don't think he wants any easy Guzma targets that would unlock the GX-EX ability lock.
It looks like he goes for a Ultra Ball, discarding another set of Garbodor and Trubbish. Looking for that
the third Glaceon.
He doesn't want to Energy Evolution on this turn because he's going to want to attach to his active.
Yeah, he's just telling Dustin, you ain't getting out. You're dead. So if he does have there's an Aqua Patch.
There is.
So that works really well there.
It's going to be fantastic.
So he's going to Aqua Patch onto the Glaceon that has the 1 energy already.
Yes.
But doesn't have an energy to attack this turn. So if Dustin can find... No, he can't find something. He just has to
Dustin
pass.
just straight passes. It's always a shame to see when this happens, especially on the win and in.
Oh, and especially on stream, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Wamboldt's just drawing like a Greek god right now.
Oh, my goodness. You can see he's having a sick time.
It's interesting to note because earlier I was talking about how Zoroark decks are just so strong and so fast.
Absolutely.
But we see Wamboldt here just plowing through.
Just took a quick knockout and put 30 on a Zoroa. Goodness gracious. So draws a Tapu Lele that is not going to do anything.
We do see the Enhanced Hammer come down.
So that can hopefully buy maybe a turn or something.
That will buy a good chunk of time unless Wamboldt can draw that DCE right off this or has a supporter.
And Dustin just has to pass again. Oh, man. So, yeah, this Glaceon is definitely very powerful. So it looks like he's actually just going to attach the water energy there. And he's going to go for the Guzma. So Dustin's just going to scoop. He sees the writing on the wall. He's like, I can't really do much. I'm just going to scoop this one. Go to game 2, get out some abilities before you're able to lock me with Glaceon.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's kind of what you have to do in this match, especially in a win-in. You kind of want to conserve your time so that you have enough time to potentially win 2 more games.
Yeah, because this is an uphill battle now. The ability Freezing Glaze just freezes him in his tracks with trying to set up.
I know, and that Frost Bullet just put a bullet through his chest. So, kind of going forward, what do you think Dustin wants to do? Obviously wants to get his Tapu Lele down turn 1 to get the Bridget.
We want to see Dustin be able to set up, get a trade or two off before we see the Glaceon, but it's so hard with that energy evolution, allowing that turn 1 evolution and a lock right away. Even if he can't get that those trades off, seeing a Zorua evolve at least is something good.
It's
he
crucial,
can start
it's
attacking.
still a good attacker.
Right.
Absolutely. Like, you can do 120. It's going to trade relatively well with the Glaceon. So see, players both cut. They're going to draw 7. I'm going to assume Dustin's going first. I don't see why you would not. Starts a Zorua, and it looks like he has a Lele in hand. And his Organ and double colorless, so he can do stuff this game, thankfully.
Wamboldt ends up mulliganing.
Showing off his Glaceon. Oh, no.
Which allows Dustin to draw an extra card, should he choose.
So I think that the thing for Dustin is also, like, do you even bench Rockruff at this point? I don't think you do.
I don't think you do.
I don't think you do. Like, maybe it's a decent attacker, but I mean, the most it's going to be doing is like 130, 150, 170. It's not actually going to be doing, the massive 200 to knock out this Glaceon here.
Exactly. And Lycanroc, is really just used for its ability most of the time. It's not going to do much when you can't do it.
Right, absolutely. So Andrew finally did get a basic Pokemon. So there we go. Dustin's going to start off. Oh,
we have a Lapras start for Andrew.
Starts the Lapras, so he's going to have to find a way to get that out of the active if he wants to get the Glaceon on lock.
Right.
Lock, unlock.
If he wants that turn 1 lock, he's going to have to work extra hard to get that Lapras just out of that active spot. It's a liability right now.
Right, and I'm pretty sure.
Granted, it can collect for 1 energy.
Oh, that is so good.
Such a clutch move.
Oh,
3 cards.
If he really has to, he could Ice Beam. Man, that would be
icy.
Yes. So Dustin gets a Tapu Lele, gets a Bridget, gets another 2 Zoruas, and the Rockruff. So, I mean, the Rockruff could be fine depending on how much Andrew benches. It really just depends.
I have a feeling he went for that Rockruff because he sees that Lapras in the active, knowing that there's a very slim chance
there's a target that he can take down.
Well, it's a slim chance that we will see that get out of the active anytime soon.
Yep. So we actually just saw Andrew just use Collect. I think he's in a pretty fine spot. I don't think he's going to get knocked out this turn.
No.
He is probably going to get attacked, but, I think he's just content with drawing 3 cards and going
Lapras is so big and bulky that it's really not too much, but he does need to find a Pokemon next turn.
Right. Absolutely. So Dustin is going to play the Kukui. Interesting. So right now he's doing 100, 120 with the Kukui.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see. He has a Choice Bait in hand that he could put down if he wants to.
Not sure.
I don't know if he would at this point, though. I mean, it could be fine either way. Just because you're already 2-shotting. I think the Choice Band on the Rockruff is much better if you do want to eventually get off a Claw Slash. So I like that play from Dustin.
It's not too terrible considering that Wamboldt only does play 1 Field Blower.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like, there we go. Just going to see the Ritus beating for 120. So 120 on that Lapras if Andrew can't find a Pokemon.
This does not look good.
What does he do?
He has a Float Stone. That's at least progress. But
okay, Cynthia. Okay, so
there we go.
A Cynthia. If he can't find a Pokemon, that Lapras is going to Blizzard burn away. I'm sorry, I tried making a pun. But, so, Andrew would play that Cynthia. Going to get a fresh 6 cards. Ideally, probably want to get an Eevee or 2.
Definitely an Eevee. Ultra Balls would be good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the big thing is, he has that Float Stone down. So if he can get an Eevee with an Energy Evolution, he can get the lock on again.
Exactly. Making that Zoroark unable to trade. The potential Lycanroc to never come down, probably.
Yeah, well, that's not an Eevee, but it's a Pokemon. So.
It is a Pokemon.
At least he's, not going to lose this game yet. So Dustin draws that card kind of excitedly. I mean, I would if I were just ability locked the last game. So it looks like he drew a double colorless energy for the turn. Looks like he's going to go ahead and use trade. Discard the Professor Sycamore. I think at this point you kind of start attaching to the Rockruff. So
yeah.
Looks like what he's going to do. Going to attach a basic fighting energy there. And I think at this point, would you maybe Guzma off the Trubbish or something like that? I don't even know if that's really a worthy option at this point.
I mean, it's not too much of a threat at this point.
Yeah.
Granted, it could turn into a Garbodor.
Right.
But...
So, yeah, looks like he's just going to go for the Ritus beating and knock it out. So I think that's fine. So we'll see if Andrew can find a Pokemon.
He does draw the Ultra Ball, it looks like. So
now, he doesn't have a water in hand, which is the big problem for him. So depending on what he wants to get, I know that he does play. It looks like only one Tapu Lele, so.
He is going to discard the Garbodor and the band there.
Yeah, I think that's fine discarding the Garbodor because, I mean, he kind of thinks that this Trubbish is more than likely going to be going down that
It's
turn.
more than likely going to be going.
So, no point in really evolving into the Garbodor. So.
But he stopped. Is something prized?
Uh-oh. That's not good.
He might be looking for another Lapras because he's so far down that you would just want to start collecting again if you don't have that energy to put in.
Right.
For that Glaceon.
Yeah, he kind of stopped, kind of like trembled. That kind of makes me think that maybe he prized something. Like maybe he prized his other Lapras. Yeah, maybe he prized a bunch of Eevees or something. Looks like he just has to go for the Mewtwo.
He goes for the Mewtwo.
Oh, that's not.
That's not what
good.
you want to see right now. But he does attach the Float Stone. Choice Band. Evolves into Garb. Garb is on lock.
Okay, so that does leave Dustin slightly limited. Although it is a lock that can be gotten out of thanks to the Field Blower, and it looks like he is playing two of those in his list. So he should be able to find those. And I thought I might have saw one in his hand. I don't remember exactly.
But Dustin is set up so well right now that he is in a very good position to just dominate Wamboldt for Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So Andrew's going to go ahead and get the 6 cards off of that Cynthia. Going to see what he can get off of that. There's another Ultra Ball. I think, I don't know.
There must be something in there that he wants, or he's just trying to thin his hand.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I was going to say maybe he could, get an Eevee out into Water Energy, but that Garbotoxin shuts off the Eevee's ability, so he can't necessarily do that this turn.
But we do see the Eevee come down into play. We will not be seeing that wonderful ability used.
Sea Surfer, Lapras. Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Lapras. Darn. So we do have that Eevee coming down. He's going to just put the double colorless on there. It's doing 90, 70 with resistance. I mean, it's a pretty decent amount of chip damage.
It's chip damage. It'll be good.
Yeah. The only problem is that if Dustin can find, say, a Professor Kukui, that's going to knock that Mewtwo out.
Exactly.
And I know that he does play Kukui in his list. He does have 2 of them. So, and he already played 1, I believe?
We do see the Enhanced Hammer on Dustin's side, rendering that Mewtwo utterly useless unless Wamboldt can find another DCE. We see him lose all of his tools thanks to that Field Blower you were just talking about. Dustin is going into overdrive here.
Just use that Bloodthirsty Eyes ability to gust up that Eevee into the active spot. Now, one of the biggest threats for this deck is going to be gone.
Exactly.
So, you got to think on Dustin's side, that's really good. He had just attached a Strong Energy to Lycanroc, so he has the option to, Dangerous Rogue later in the game, which is really good. Or maybe he could even just do it here if he's feeling feisty. I don't think that's a good play, but,
But it's for certain we're going to see that Eevee go down.
Yeah, exactly. That Eevee is going to go down, and that kind of leaves Andrew with limited options.
It's very limited options. We saw that he was kind of holding steady there, but once he lost his energy and his items, his tools there, I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is going to go well for him.
Yeah, so Andrew did just have to play that end. It's going to put Dustin down to 3 cards. It could be big if Andrew finds maybe like a tool to put on that Garbodor, shutting off the trade from Dustin. That could be absolutely huge there. It's just going to depend if Andrew can draw it. So, and Andrew still needs a lot more puzzle pieces to be able to do something this turn, aside from just sitting there.
Dustin did draw the Strong Energy, so he will be able to use Lycanroc should he want to.
Right. All right. So he does have the Eevee and the Water Energy I saw in him, but it looks like he's just going to go for the double colorless on Mewtwo. That's just going to Psychic for 40. I mean, it's chip damage. I mean, I think he knows that he's not going to get knocked out unless there's like Kukui shenanigans. So.
He knows that it's not the best attack at the moment, but he also knows that it's not going to give up 2 prizes when he is already down so far. But we do see Dustin bring in a second Zoroark, giving him 2 trades now.
And he just used the first one, so he's got 1 more left to him. His hand doesn't look too stellar, so I don't know what you would do.
He's going to retreat into the Lycanroc just to
KO. Actually, he's going to go ahead and retreat so that he can Guzma on the Eevee, get rid of that big threat again. So, and then just like that, Dustin's going to be down to 2 prizes.
We see the attachment to the Lycanroc of a Strong Energy, and we see that Eevee go down in a righteous beating.
Yeah, unfortunate. So
Mewtwo is back up with that DCE.
And it's still only doing 40.
Right.
Which really isn't going to do much in a game where Zork's consistently hitting you for 120.
Right.
So
Wamboldt decides to just Sycamore his hand away.
I mean, that's really all he could do. He had a Glaceon, a couple energies and stuff like that. That's really all that he could do. He wants to save his attachment for potentially an Eevee. So, kind of looking at his hand, he's got a Super Rod, an Aqua Patch.
A Glaceon.
Oh, he's just going to scoop.
Yeah.
All right. So, Game 3.
Game 3. What do we need to see?
Andrew needs to get turn 1 Glaceon. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, because like I mentioned earlier, shutting off all those abilities is absolutely crucial, and Dustin's deck is all GX and EX abilities.
Exactly. So we saw how his deck just completely stopped. Frozen in its tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Dustin drew the Tapu Lele GX. Couldn't play it with, without, not having an ability.
Right.
So that's really, kind of big for Andrew. And if he can start the Eevee, and I mean, it is kind of likely he does play 4.
Right.
So, and compared to a lot of the other cards in there, it is very likely it'll start the Eevee. He'll just need to get the Energy Evolution and kind of just lock from there.
Yeah, and it should be smooth sailing.
Hopefully. But I think on Dustin's end too, even if you do get locked, depending on what cards you have in hand, sometimes you're just okay with just putting in a few Pokemon and passing.
Right. Honestly, with those Zoroarks, they can knock out those Glaceons fairly easily after a few turns, rendering that lock useless.
Kind of useless, yeah. I mean, it does stink that you can't draw cards with the trade ability, but I mean, being able to,
But when you have a Pokemon that can do both.
Yeah, when you can consistently 2-hit Pokemon under the correct setup, that's pretty solid. So, looks like Dustin had a mulligan.
They both had a mulligan.
Both mulligans. Unfortunate. Dustin looking. Is there any other spookiness that I'm going to be worried about?
But there is.
Oh, there is. We haven't even seen... Oh, my goodness. There are a few cards we see on here. We'll have to see if they come into play. This is going to be really fun, though. So, I think another thing that Dustin really has to think about, he does have that Mew EX. I think that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
if he really wants to. I mean, obviously, like, Mewtwo is going to, start attacking and stuff like that. If Andrew tries going with the Mewtwo again, he could just go in with the Mew EX and knock it out.
Just a quick one.
Yep, very quick one.
So does look like Dustin did get a Pokemon, as did Wamboldt.
So
neither of them will draw a mulligan card.
Right. Yep. Dustin looked like he got a Rockruff. Couldn't tell what Andrew had. Rockruff's not really the ideal starter for this matchup, I don't think. But I mean, it's a fine starter. So
it's better than nothing.
Lapras.
It's a Lapras start again.
It's our Surfer. Oh my goodness. So let's see. Just attaches a water.
I have a feeling we'll see Cynthia.
Okay. So we are not going to get the turn 1 ability lock from the Freezing Gaze this turn.
Right.
But on the other hand, I mean,
we do have this bulky GX sitting up there, unable to be knocked out in the first turn.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Andrew can, power that up if he eventually wants to use, like, Ice Beam or something like that. Or he could even just be content enough to just collect.
Yeah, it's just like the old deck where Lapras was a mill deck, and you would just collect
and collect. Oh, goodness. So he does have an Eevee that he drew off of it. I don't know if you would bench. Yeah, I mean, he could bench it if you want to.
It's a pretty safe play to bench it.
Yeah, it's probably not going to get knocked out this turn unless, like, Strong Energy Guzma or something like that. So.
Since he will be collecting next turn, he will be able to Energy Evolution.
Right.
And there is a chance that he could draw a Guzma.
That is very true. So it looks like Dustin's just going to go for the Bridget here. Going to get 3 cards. Wouldn't be surprised if it was just 3 Zorua. I think that's kind of what you want at this point.
It seems to be the thing now, but it does look like he goes for 2 Zorua and a Rockruff.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense as well.
Definitely. He needs to play to his outs here, and I do think getting those Lycanrocs to Bloodthirsty Eyes that Eevee up before it can do anything is the play. Sadly, he only passes.
Yeah.
Wamboldt has the energy in hand to Energy Evolution, but can he get the Glaceon into the active?
He just discarded a water, so he's probably just going to manually evolve at this point, I think, unless he needs something. So, but nope, he's going to go ahead and go for the Glaceon GX. Touch Double Colorless Energy, Choice Band, and a nice fresh Cynthia. 6 fresh cards for Andrew. He has a water in the discard. Water Patch. Aqua Patch would be pretty cool. That would be a pretty good card here. Kind of like the Dark Patch from the days, just except for Water Energy.
Exactly.
It's an item card, lets you attach a Water Energy to one of your benched Water Pokemon from your discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to wait and see if Andrew can pull that off. He also needs to find a way to get Lapras out of the active, I think.
I'm not sure. He can't this turn for sure. Yeah. There we go.
And he has the Aqua Patch in hand, so this is not looking good for Dustin whatsoever.
We will see this Lapras retreat then after the Pal Pad.
Pal Pad, 2nd time today.
Bringing both Cynthias back out of the discard, shuffled into the deck.
Beautiful.
For later use.
Later use for 6 fresh cards. I love it. So that's one of the spicy cards I was waiting to see. So it looks like from here, Andrew's probably going to go ahead and...
retreat, bring up his Glaceon.
Frost Bullet. Going to knock out that Rockruff. Would you put damage on the Zoroark probably? Or do you think you go for the Rockruff?
It's hard to tell because you do have the lock right now. Honestly, either is a good choice.
Yeah.
I would personally try and do the Rockruff as Andrew has, because I don't want to lose to a Bloodthirsty Eyes if my Glaceon is knocked out.
Right, exactly. And I also think that he realizes that with the strong energies, the Rockruff is the one with the unlimited potential in damage.
Yes.
So...
because we do see the Rockruff come down, as well as a Tapu Lele trying to get...
to just fill the bench.
Fill the bench for the Righteous Beating.
So it looks like Dustin's just going to play the Cynthia here. I mean, he has a draw supporter at least. That's nice. So, going to go ahead, get himself a fresh 6 cards. Ideally, Zoroark and a double colorless would be pretty good here.
It would be fantastic. That's what he needs to start attacking right now.
Yeah, and I mean, with the double colorless, he's able to do 110, which is really nice, clean 1-shots, or 2-shots on Glaceon.
It's a 2-shot on Glaceon. It's a 2-shot on Lapras, if I recall correctly.
Correct. Yeah, Lapras is 190. This is going to get those 6, and we're going to have to wait and see what fun he has. That's not a Zoroark.
It does look like another Lycanroc in hand and not a Zoroark. There doesn't seem to be a DC in hand. There is a puzzle, but he does not have 2.
So he can't effectively get anything back.
But he does have the Field Blower that gets rid of that Float Stone, as well as that Choice Band, meaning that if there is a Guzma at a later date, that Lapras is stuck, and it is a big girl.
Yeah, it's a very big girl. So it's going to go ahead and use the Rescue Stretcher, put a Rockruff on the bench, just kind of for reassurance. Puzzle of time to rearrange his deck for the top 3. Ooh,
we do see the Zoroark in there.
Although the other thing is his hand isn't terribly good, so I think you'd put the N at the top.
Yes.
He put it at the bottom. Maybe that was like something different that I didn't see on the top.
Sadly, we do see him pass, unable to get anything going.
Yeah.
But we do see Wamboldt start to attach to the Lapras, powering it up for its main attack.
Yeah. So looks like he's going to go ahead, use that Frost Bullet. Going to put
some chip damage onto
looks
that
like there was a little bit of a
Lycanroc.
miscommunication on how much damage was on that Lycanroc, so they're going to go ahead and fix that real quick.
Yep.
I think if you're Dustin, depending on what he put up on top with the puzzles, promoting Zoro up may be okay, but at this point you might also just want to put up the Tapu Leles. So I think at this point, Energy Drive might actually be like a legitimate attack at this point. It can do a solid 100 damage right here.
It can.
So, looked like Dustin got the N already. Gonna evolve just to send his hand out, and gonna go ahead and play that N. Put Wamboldt down to 4 cards, and Dustin's gonna get a fresh 6.
And not only does it thin his hand out, it ends up giving him buffer HP, so he's not just easily knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's really cool too. I think that the Wonder Tag is just an incredible attack in general. Like, it can actually attack Lapras and stuff like that. I think that's going to be really fun. So
agreed.
Yeah. So kind of going forward, I think Dustin definitely wants to draw a Zoroark, maybe a Float Stone. He just wants to draw stuff so he can attack. There's that Mew EX. Not really helpful here. He does have the Zoroark, so he can at least evolve it, knowing it's not going to get knocked out this turn if like a Guzma happens.
He does have a Float Stone in hand as well.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the accompanying double colorless energy to go with that. I think is the big problem.
But I think he realizes he does need to get that Lele out of the active because it does have that damage on it, and he needs to bring up something that is fully healed.
Yes. So he's going to go ahead and promote the Zoroark. I don't know if I agree with that. I would have probably wanted to keep the Zoroark on the bench so that, like, you know, after, if you start, like, Riotous Beating, you're not going to get knocked out the next turn.
Possibly, I agree, but also you have to realize Lycanrocs take a lot longer to power up because it needs 3 energy, and those Tapu Leles are awfully fragile.
True.
And we do see that Field Blower take away that Float Stone from that poor Tapu Lele.
Poor Lele.
Andrew drawing a fresh 7 from a Professor Sycamore.
So it looks like Andrew from here probably wants to get some Glaceon stuff on board. Maybe a second Glaceon just to sort of cover his tracks if that first Glaceon does go down. So it looks like he's contemplating attaching
a DC
double
to that.
colorless. Okay. So, yep, from there, I mean, Frost Bullet is definitely the play here.
Yep.
Where would you put the 30?
I'm going to try. I think I would be putting it on either a Lycanroc or the Lele.
Lele would be a really good one, absolutely. I could see the Lycanroc too because that puts Lapras in KO range as well.
Right.
So there's one of Dustin's spicy cards, Devoured Field. Wamboldt has to read it. Devoured Field actually makes it so that your Dark and Metal Pokemon, both in play, has do 10 more damage.
Yes, and the judge even has to read it.
That's not even a new card. Come on.
It's a card we don't expect to see, though.
Yeah, typically in these Zoroark Lycanrocs, you see Reverse Valleys.
Right.
Typically because it's really good in the mirror, so that your opponent's Zoroark don't get that extra damage. So we did see Dustin play Cynthia. Going to get a fresh hand of 6.
He does have that basic fighting energy in hand to help power up his healthy Lycanroc.
Yes, his very healthy dog. Or fox. Whichever it is.
Lycanrocs are dogs.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to see a pass here. So I think if you're Wamboldt, you want a Choice Band for that Glaceon so you can knock out the Zoroark this turn. Otherwise you're still in a fine position. There we go.
There's your Choice Band. You also kind of want to see that second Glaceon hit the field, if possible.
Absolutely.
Because you do want to have that threat on the bench. That Eevee with a DCE is such a liability because it's so fragile.
Yes.
It could be Guzma'd up easily.
Yeah, absolutely easily. And just even that it has DCE, it could be something as simple as just an energy drive. That's fragile.
The one thing I love about Wamboldt's deck is, despite the fact that it doesn't run Zoroark, he blows through this deck so fast with these Sycamores.
Oh yeah, he just doesn't care. That's awesome. Like, Sycamore, draw all my cards, Sycamore, collect, Sycamore. Oh, it's so good. And he can Palpad the Sycamores. He can just draw through his entire deck if he wants.
We do see he did grab that Glaceon GX out of that 7. Nice. Fantastic to see. Dustin has full pressure on him now.
Yeah, I think that the big thing that you kind of have to watch out for as well is if Dustin gets a strong energy and a Choice Band, Dangerous Rogue knocks out that Glaceon.
Right.
So, if my math is correct, 150, 170, 200. Yep. So, he's going to have to, get perfect cards. Dustin just scoops. All right,
there we have it.
Glaceon is in day 2, boys. So congratulations to Andrew for making day 2 with such an unorthodox deck.